finally focus, can you poke it out for me? Know what I mean in those jeans. Ooh,
what's going on YouTube? It's your boy 3MG here, back with another video, and I'm gonna give you my first impressions, my thoughts on Quantum Break. You can say review, but I don't want to spoil the game. The game is that short that I think any details I may get into may spoil the game. But at the end of this, I will let you know that this game is worth the $60. Wait, there's a couple things I need to talk about. I'm very serious with this shit because there's one thing that bothers me about the community, and it's when instead of playing games, they're too busy Twitter fingering and talking and glorifying something that they haven't even touched yet, or vice versa, right? So let me explain a little bit about this. Now, I'm the type of person, right, that even if I don't finish a game, I will make time to play it to a certain extent or a certain length to at least see if I enjoy it enough, right? If I don't beat a game, I won't come out my way to review it. I won't come out my way to tell people negative things about it. See, I enjoy playing video games, right? And when I uploaded the screenshot of me playing Quantum Break, or I should say the fact that I beat the game and it said 3 hours and 54 minutes, not even I knew I beat it that short until I seen. I was like, oh snap, I beat it kind of quick. And when I uploaded that to Twitter, it's disgusting to see that people went on to attack me on it. And you're talking about me. I don't give a shit about anything. And the fact that people, and it's not even like my viewers, it was like other people who retweeted it, who found my image. It was like other people who just came into my Twitter, and I had two individuals block me actually. And let me just tell you something, that's pathetic. You could have just simply said, oh wow, but at least I beat it in this much time. Like my boy Fry, he came out and said, oh, it took me 6 hours to beat the game. That's all he said. You know, you have other people came in, I beat it in this much hours. I beat it in 8. I beat it in that, right? And the reason that I beat it within 4 hours was because I didn't watch those stupid reality, whatever TV shows when they appeared. No, I'm live streaming the game. I'm not going to bore my audience to watch that. I decided to go back and watch it at the end. And to be honest with you, just to point something out, there's no excuse when a game is that short and they're bringing you these real TV shows within the game. That could have been gameplay for us to actually experience and to continue on with the game. But no, they brought it in, and I believe it's in as fillers in the game, because they don't take long to fucking video record, you know, scenes and act in, which is only 20 minutes shows, and then bring it in and put it in the game. I felt like those were fillers so that the game could seem longer. The game is actually not a long game, and people were in denial. And when I say people, I hate to say this word, but Xbots, these people were in denial that this game is a short title. Shit, the game is so short that I had to beat it a second time on hard because people were giving me bullshit. Oh, you speed run it. You didn't watch this. You didn't do that. So, oh, you played it on normal. It was so pathetic that people were telling me the reason why I beat it fast was because of the fact that I had aim assist on. Now, mind you, I forgot that aim assist was on when I live streamed it, and I had it on low. So if you go back to my first live stream on it, you see I put it on at least low, and it makes no difference at all. So I told the person, so that means if I beat the game with aim assist on, that makes a difference compared to if I didn't. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it's just a reach that people went just to have an excuse so that they can say that Quantum Break, well, I didn't bash Quantum Break. I just said it was a short game. I enjoyed it. But you know, these people who can't take opinions, whatever, they don't fucking comment or just block me, period. Don't even write to me with your bullshit excuse, because you want to know something exposed to the dude who told me, oh, the game was actually amazing, this and that. If you're speaking that early on about the game being amazing, and you also said that the game was good, that you finished it as well, even though you didn't give a time, that just shows how short this fucking game is. That within a day of its release, you also beat the game. So expose, bro. Because you commented and gave your feedback on the game when you see my image. You said, well, it took me a little longer to beat it. Well, regardless, you still fucking beat the game, and there's no point to go back. I beat the game on hard again just to prove a point that the game was short. And it is, you know, because now I know what I have to do in the game. So rewatching cutscenes was pointless to me. I actually was like, you know what? There's no point in me watching the cutscenes because I watched them the first time. I skipped them shits. Yeah, you're there. The second time playing it on hard was just to see how much gameplay I get out of the game. So that all makes sense. I know what the cutscenes are. So for the second time, I'm not going to just not skip them because I need to make sure that this game has a lot of hours put in so that I can say, no, this game is actually not short. No, I want to know what's the difference in time between my gameplay and the fact that there's cutscenes. And their cutscenes actually are pretty lengthy compared to the gameplay. There's no excuse that this game is short. You feel me? So when people complain and they're like, oh, but you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Listen, just like with the Ground Zeroes, the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, the game was fucking 15 minutes long. And people try to say, well, you got to do the side missions. And no, we're talking story, okay? There's no multiplayer in this game. We're playing the story of Quantum Break. I don't give a fuck about anything else. Of course, the cutscenes and everything, okay, I understand. But cutscenes don't make up or shouldn't make up the length of the gameplay of the story. All right, the game is still really short. All right, people were giving the Order 1886 a problem. People were kind of complaining that Infamous Second Son, and the funny thing to me is the people that were complaining were the same people praising Quantum Break. There's no excuse. Both games are short, and you know what? Quantum Break reminds me too much of Infamous Second Son. The shortness of the game, the story in which I feel like they push too much, they cram so much within a short amount of story in the gameplay. I feel like the enemies even were similar. We're gonna jump in to the actual game itself. I just had to bring this up a little bit. Quantum Break, right? You're playing as a character as Jack. You have a brother named Will. Your best friend, or your partner, I should say, is Paul Serene, right? And you meet other people within the game. You got Beth and some other characters, right? Basically, you participate in this experiment that has gone wrong, right? The whole thing actually messes up, and you and Paul get put into the mix, in which now you and Paul actually have this ability to go back in time, and you have this ability to stop time, fast travel and whatnot, right? Through the process of escaping now the whole situation, you and your brother Will go ahead and try to leave the building. He actually dies, and because you understand now what was his purpose and what he's been trying to do this whole time, you want to go back in time now with the abilities that you just basically got, and you want to go ahead and save him. Now, throughout the game, you're going to find yourself searching for Paul, as well as trying to make your way back in time to save Will from at the time of his death, right? And as you complete that, you know, you go against a couple of enemies. These enemies remind me of Infamous Second Son, because each enemy from the beginning wave of the beginning of the game up until the end, they became more difficult, and you encountered more bigger bosses, like more bigger, you know, enemies, whatever. And just like Infamous Second Son, you had the weaklings, and then you had the ones that actually had similar abilities, and that's what some of these enemies had. They had similar abilities to the fast travel, fast time, you know, teleporting. And I'm just like, this game feels just like it. And the fact that you're really trying to save a group or save humanity or trying to save your brother seems very similar to Infamous Second Son. But throughout that process, you unlock more abilities, or should I say, you know, he finds himself, you know, having more powers and more abilities, which I think is fun for the game, because I had such a great experience, you know, fast traveling over to another enemy and then time shifting where I was just running and everything was in slow motion. I think it's cool and it plays out very smooth. The biggest issue is that there's no exploration within the game. Everything goes within the movie game. Basically, this game is like a movie game, basically, I would say. It goes within the game. You can't go outside of the game. And that was one of the excuses that people were telling me. Well, because it went like that, you can't give it a high score. I'm like, first of all, I never gave it a low score. Well, I never told you guys my score, first of all. Second of all, you give us all this, all these abilities, all this to gather, all this to take in, but we're only able to experience it within the game. You can't leave the game's boundaries. It's not like where you have the story and you can go ahead and farm and do like, you know, little stuff here and there. I can't say it's repetitive. It's really not a repetitive game, but that's only because it only leaves you with the story. And beating the story, you can't go back in there to find more intel. Once you go back into the story to replay the missions, it restarts your progress in the game. Because I've tried it and I was just like, oh snap. So yeah, you can't go back in there to explore and see whatever cool stuff. There's really no exploring. Everything pushes you within the story. So there's no outside from the story. It's really, everything is contained. Everything is within the story. Just to keep that in mind if you're thinking about exploring the city of wherever you're located and you want to try out your abilities on other enemies around the world. No, it's not like that at all. It's only within the game, and you only encounter enemies as the story progresses. And that's one of the biggest things people were telling me I speed run. Well, to keep you informed, if you beat the game, you understand that you can't speed run in a game where it tells you you have to take out the enemies. So that's really the task of the majority of the game. After I had completed the little finding whatever it was, you have to take out the wave of enemies. How can you speed run that? You can't speed run that when that's part of the game. You can't run around that. It won't continue to the next objective if you don't beat the game, if you don't beat that mission or task. So that's why I'm like, listen, either these guys don't play games and they just sit here complain about games, or they beat the game and they're in denial. Now, not to really spoil the game much more, but you end up, yes, you save your brother and you end up changing the world for the better or whatnot. After that, that's really it. You know, something happens in the game. I ain't gonna say that's spoiling it, but after I beat the game the first time, I was still like, oh my god, this game is great because of everything I was able to do. Playing it the second time made me realize how short this game was, the lack of character that they had in the game, because once again, they already had everybody in their position. Everybody already had their flaws. Everybody already had their roles in the game. It's not like there was a build up and then all of a sudden you guys had these crazy experiences. No, it's everybody had what they had except for the abilities. The abilities came in right in the beginning. That's fine. But you found yourself wanting to learn more about, you know, Beth and all these other characters. And although, yes, the show may have explained a little bit, no, that's the show. I want to know within gameplay what goes on, and I want to see more. I paid $60 for this game. I want to have a fun experience. Now, the game, for the most part, was fun. The game was very fun, but there was a lack of weapons in the game. You know, they're calling it a third-person shooter, but there were literally like four assault rifles in the game. That's really it, or 4 or 5 or whatever. And they had like maybe a sniper and an LMG. You was able to upgrade the abilities, and for the most part, I found some of the Cronin sources, which was basically what you use to upgrade your abilities, which I think is pretty cool. But there wasn't as much depth. There was a lot of ambition put into this title, very little depth into this game. The animations, for the most part, were very disappointing for a game such as this. You found yourself seeing PlayStation 2 animations, like when you reload. And yeah, this is a lot of things I take into account, because if I did that with Infamous and did that with The Order 1886, you damn sure I'm gonna give Quantum Break the business. The animations were very, it was embarrassing. How a game of this year don't even have a reload animation. Like, you don't see nothing reloading. Same thing with the weapons. There was other animations in the game, such as some of the melee animations that were clunky. People seen in my live stream there was a bug where I was stuck and I had to restart the whole thing, which is minor. They can fix that. It's no problem. Nigga, really? Wow. Yo, does anybody... My nigga. Microsoft. I found it that even though with these abilities you have, the game wasn't groundbreaking. The movement wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't as groundbreaking as we thought it was, because each and every time they showed us gameplay, it was literally a fighting scene. It was very disappointing to see how short this game lived or is, and seeing that now there's nothing left to do. There's no outside stuff to do in this game. And in the game, you almost feel like you're promised something, but it's never a given. Like, when I play this game, I feel like there was still something missing. I know it's the gameplay portion of it, but I felt like I wasn't ready to beat the game. The game wasn't ready to be finished. I wanted to know whether or not will this be taken part of the world, because for the most part you don't have no interaction with the world. It's really just the main couple characters that are within the game. So you don't even know how society is gonna do or nothing like that. Just like how the change was in Infamous, and yes, like once again, I'm gonna compare the two. You've seen the change throughout the game, a little bit of the change in the world throughout the game. You don't see no change. You don't see that much of anything in this game other than just the basic characters within the game. That's really it. Once again, this game lacks depth. I think the time stop and everything is definitely a dope. I love the abilities. I had so much fun using them, learning some combos. You know, some people saw me in the live stream, I was taking L's, and then in the most part I was like, you know, going in slow motion, just bodying people. I love that part of the game. That game was dope. You know, I would like to see more of that. If they were to do DLC, I would have loved to see more of the game. But it seems like, whether, I doubt they're gonna do I don't know if they're gonna do a sequel, but it seems like the way they ended it, it was just very a short story with celebrities. So yeah, once again, this was not a review. This was really like my first impressions. How I feel about the game. Is this game worth the $60? Would I recommend this to anyone? And to be quite honest, playing this for the second time on hard, this game is not worth $60. For one thing, this game is not worth $60. Actually, this game felt like a two-part game. I felt like I wasn't done with the game. Was I satisfied? Absolutely not. I felt like, because I was so into this game, and this ain't about me hating on Xbox. Look, I own Xbox. I own an Xbox One. Why would I own a console to hate on it, you know? In fact, this was one of the games I was hyping up the most. Why would I want to get a game? This was actually an opportunity for me to get on my Xbox and actually play another game on my Xbox. I barely get on it. So I went into this game really hoping this game was going to be great. It was an okay game. It was okay. I don't think it was an amazing title that people were trying to say, or a 10 out of 10 that people were trying to give it. It was none of the above. It lacks too much. I think it had a poor setting. I think that the story, I don't know if the game was rushed, but I know like the story pushed everything too quick. Even though it wasn't close to like a clusterfuck, but I felt like everything just happened so fast. You know, you really wanted like a build up for these characters. It wasn't any of the above, and that doesn't make up a $60 price tag in my opinion. I feel, you know, the excuses that they have all these celebrities from The Wire, and they have Iceman from X-Men, you know, in the game, they can get away with making a short game, and that's not how it works. Because you had, okay, decent actors, but you have very little gameplay, a very short story. So for all you guys, or for all the people, Xbox, complaining about the order, or, you know, bragging that the order was a short game exclusive, whatever, this game is no different. This game falls under the same category. The order and this game is good games, you know, but they're short. Live with it, deal with it. You know, it's on you. Do you want to spend the $60? I don't suggest you guys. I suggest you guys wait to spend the $60. I give this game like a good 7 out of 10. Like, that's me rating the game, a good 7 out of 10. You know, or even like a 6 at like the least. You know what I'm saying? But I will not give this game a high score. It does not deserve the high score. It's a very ambitious title, but it wasn't executed properly. I don't feel comfortable lying and saying that this game was an amazing game at all. But that's all I got. Let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned. There's a bunch of other people doing reviews right now, so stay tuned for those if you were waiting for the spoilers. I'm not going to be doing a review on this game. It's just overview basically. Yeah, it's your boy 3MG, and if you're an Xbot and you're watching this video, Xbots, enjoy your game. Enjoy playing video games. Stop complaining about them. Enjoy them. Play them and actually buy them, bitch.
Conversations sometimes overrated. Don't wanna seem impatient, but let's get it straight. Don't need to wait so long. We got all night, I know.